My first trade was in February of this year, and by July, 5 months later, I earned my first $100,000. My name is Veda Wooten, and I am in Atlanta, Georgia, in the US. I started or decided to get started in Elevate. I'm a real estate agent and broker, have been for 27 years. And for those people that know how real estate works, real estate is a hustle and a grind, constant, constant, constant. And lately here in the US, I don't know how it is anywhere else, the interest rates are changing and it's getting harder and harder for people to buy homes. It's just getting to be a mess. So all of that affects my ability to earn income. So I wanted to find something that was less arduous, something that I didn't have to go back to school for another 4 years or 6 years, and that had the ability for me to chunk away large chunks of money because I'm getting close to retirement. December, I said, let me start learning this. But I was doing it haphazardly. I didn't know what was in store for me. So I did maybe 1 or 2 hours a week trying to study. I wasn't taking it seriously. But February of this year, things started to click and I was able to place my first trade 45 days later from learning the stuff in the hub, as we call it, the back office, the training platform, whatever you want to call it. 45 days later, and remember, I wasn't 45 days straight. I was 2-3 hours a week, and been pretty good since then. So my first trade was in February, and as the last gentleman, Mr. Dean, came on, you don't have to have a lot to start. I started with more than most people did, just because that's the kind of person I am. I'm kind of aggressive, but it really was still, to me, not that much. I started with $1,000, but I know you don't need that much. I did $1,000 in my very, very first live trade, because there's a demo and then there's live. I did my very first live trade. I turned that $1,000 into $2,500, $2,519.17, and that took about 5 minutes. So I was like, oh, this looks good. Now, obviously, I wasn't going to change my life, $1,500, but really it kind of did, because now I knew what I was learning, and when I started applying, it actually made sense. I'm like, oh, I do have a new skill that I'm learning, And I told you my first trade was in February of this year. And by July, 5 months later, I earned my first $100,000 off of that initial $1,000 investment. So I'm excited, very, very excited. And Caroline, if I could tell you something, it took me 5 months from zero, from knowing nothing about this, to making my first 100,000. But then 2 months later, just 2 months, I earned another 100,000. So $200,000 in 7 months. It literally has changed my life, my husband's life, my family's life. We're all trading. My 13-year-old, my 19-year-old, he just turned 19 last week. My 23-year-old, it's just like, why didn't I know about this before? So I'm averaging, I think you asked me what's consistent. I'm doing about 2,500 a day.
Wow.
So and I started with only wanting to do 375 a day, and now it's up to 2,500 a day. So I told you I'm aggressive, but I also don't have a very long attention span. I'm in the trades between 45 minutes and an hour and 15 per day. That's it.
Wow.
It's amazing, because some of my clients are doctors and attorneys, and they're very, very well paid, but they don't have time to spend the money. Like they can't even find time to find houses when we're going out, because they make a lot, but they just don't have time. And I didn't want that. I was able to find this, and now I have the time and the money. Like, I'll do what I need to do in that 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes, and then the rest of the day is mine. So I really, really, really love that.